Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life in the Mundane, and this week I'm here to talk to you about homeschooling with littles. So what I mean by littles, just to clarify a little bit, is your 3 and under, your kids that are not quite ready for those preschool type activities, that can't join in as much in that sense, but we want to give them some structure, keep them busy so that we can homeschool the olders, and activities that are developmentally appropriate, that are engaging to them and helping their brain development. So let's get started. So homeschooling with littles can be really challenging when you've got older kids and you've got younger kids. And I do want to clarify that that's what this video is about trying to homeschool your older children while having littles in tow. I will do a separate video. I know that when I was a first-time mom, younger mom, I was really frustrated by the fact that I could never find resources on how to homeschool littles when littles is all you have. And how to really engage with them and structure a day. I will do a separate video on that later because I do know that there's not a lot of resources out there for it. But right now I'm talking about homeschooling the older ones but keeping the younger ones busy. I will throw out there that even if you don't homeschool, a lot of these activities and ideas can be useful. So first things first, always spend time with your littles first in the day. I don't always get to this every single day, but it makes a huge difference in our day when I do. What I mean by that, some people do a whole routine with their kids. Honestly, what our routine at our house looks like is we eat breakfast. The kids have done some of their chores beforehand, but have to finish cleaning up from breakfast and finish their chores. While they're doing that, I spend some time with my littles. So I pull them aside. I have a almost 17-month-old and a almost 4-month-old, but I pull them off to the side and I have time with them one-on-one. Now, what does that time look like? For us, I have to fold a load of laundry every morning as part of our routine, and I fold a load of laundry and I have them do it with me. They help. It takes way longer, but it's super fun and some time that's just mommy and them. So sometimes we sing songs while we fold laundry, sometimes we make a game out of it, we might talk about the different colors, but a lot of times it's just fun, relaxed, enjoyable time with them. After I finish folding laundry, while the older kids are putting away their laundry, I like to sit down and just have some one-on-one time to read some of their favorite stories. Just a few books, 5 to 10 minutes tops, but just filling them up and taking care of their needs first helps us have such a smoother day. Making sure that they have a sippy cup set, or if they need a snack or anything, making sure that they're set before we jump into school really helps to transition. So the next tip is include your kids. Include them as much as you can with the olders, because that's all they want to do when they're that age. They just want to be older. They want to be part of the group, part of the party. And the more you have, more you kind of exclude them or put them in a separate room doing a separate activity, the more it's going to frustrate them. And I think the more it's going to frustrate you in return. So what I kind of recommend with that is include them in everything that you can in your day. So for us, in the morning time, we have a time of singing, prayer, we read a little bit. A lot of times if we're doing geography or history, we will turn on some YouTube videos. So I always include the littles in this and try to have them in the same room. Because it's first thing in the morning, they're usually not feeling super adventurous and oftentimes will sort of stick with us. So when we're singing, they're totally engaged. When we're watching something on YouTube, they're totally engaged. But when I'm reading, a lot of times it's over their level, and so they're gonna tend to trail off. So they just kind of have some toys, some blocks or some books of their own that they just play with in the room while we're reading. This helps because I've given them my time first. They're okay with me spending some time with their older siblings. Now, I'm not saying that I don't end up with 2 babies in my lap sometimes while I'm reading to the older kids, or that we don't have distractions or children running off to other rooms. It helps in keeping them contained and happy and being part of the group. I also will say, as much as you can include them when you're at the table, even if you can't include them in the exact activity you're working on, but include them in the space that you're in, will be helpful, and I'll talk a little bit about that in just a sec. All right, tip number 3. So you've probably heard the idea, if you've ever researched before on how to keep littles busy while you're homeschooling, you've probably heard before the idea of rotating an older child to work with a little. So this is a great idea, and I did try it in the past, and it's been super frustrating because it didn't work. And I think I figured out what the missing piece was that they don't always tell you, and I just want to share that, so hopefully it'll help you guys. But I realized that when assigning an older to work on a little work with a little, that they get distracted. So they will get consumed in an activity that they're interested in, and the little will go wandering off and finding trouble. Or they will try and entertain that child, but they'll entertain them in a way that's not age appropriate. So by either trying to pull out toys that are not appropriate, that they're too small that they could choke on or whatever, or just trying to do something that the little can't do, and so they get frustrated or upset. So what I realized sort of the missing piece is assigning that child to rotate time through to work with the little, but giving them activities that they can do with the littles. This has made a huge difference. So for us, a few of those things is scrap paper and stickers. So what they do is an older child sits there and they peel off a sticker and they hand it to the younger and they stick it on the piece of paper. And they can do this. And for my daughter, she can do this for a good 20 minutes or so, which in toddler time is like 2 years. It's awesome. But she loves to do this with scrap paper. Sometimes she draws, but in general, she would just prefer to do stickers. Other things that we do is Play-Doh and like cookie cutters or Play-Doh toys are always fun with your kids, and giving that time. A lot of the older kids still enjoy doing some of that stuff like Play-Dohs and stickers and whatnot, but they're too old or too cool for it. So by giving that to them while they're playing with the littles, it gives them an opportunity to still enjoy those things, and to jump in and get to do those with their sister, kind of with an excuse. So a couple other things is right now one of my daughter's favorite things is a taco seasoning container from Sam's Club. I didn't even pull the label off, guys. I washed it and didn't even pull the label off, but whatever. And a bunch of pennies and coins. These are fake. Some of them are fake and some of them are real, but a bunch of coins. Obviously, this requires supervision. I'm not recommending handing your toddler coins and walking away, but she's got coins and she just dumps and fills them forever. It's awesome. But the one thing I will say about this is you want them to be supervised, but you probably want them to be supervised depending on the age of your older, with mom in the room still. So this is usually something that I'll say, okay, come and do it in the dining room on the floor next to us while I'm teaching lessons. So the older is supervising, but I am also in the room and supervising. Things like stamps, paints, you can do all sorts of fun things with that. So don't be afraid to give them those things that maybe they can't do on their own, that they need some supervision for, but you don't have to help supervise it. I will say, as far as assigning olders to littles, we do this only in the mornings. After our morning time all together, for the rest of the morning until lunch, we are splitting up and working on different subjects separately. That's the time that I work one-on-one with each kid. And while I'm working with those kids, the other kids are rotating through helping with the littles. So nobody's watching them for very long at all, and it allows them to have some time to rotate. Then in the afternoon, the littles are either napping or they're included with us. All right, tip number 4. Don't be afraid of messy play. I will have to say this is something that I've grown to. I was not a fan of making messes with my kids. I'm still not a huge fan, just to be honest. But I have learned that toddlers and babies, they make messes. That's what they do. If you leave them up to decide their own agenda for the day, I promise you, they are going to make messes. Case in point, I'll add it to the end of the video, but you can see what my daughter was doing while I was writing out notes for this video today. Why not give them an opportunity to get a little bit of that creativity and that natural curiosity out in a way that is not destructive? So what we like to do is we like to have a period of time, not every day, but a couple times a week, where she's in the high chair, when my toddler's in the high chair, and getting to do some kind of messy activity in the high chair, contained, so it's not all over my house. I can wipe down a high chair, I can wash clothes, or better yet, put on a paint smock or an old t-shirt, or just sit in a diaper. I can bathe the baby, I can clean up on the floor around, I can lay down a tarp if I know it's going to be super messy, whatever it is, but I can kind of control the circumstances of the mess. Have a blast with it, and any messy activity you give a child will keep them entertained and engaged longer than any other non-messy project will. So what you're gonna do is come up with a list of different things. So some of the fun things that you can do is letting them play, again with supervision, but with a shoebox size container of rice or beans or whatever, again with lots of supervision. But with that, with little trinkets and toys hidden inside that they can kind of dig for treasure, that's always a fun one. Doing shaving cream, or even better, whipped cream, so if they eat it, it's not the end of the world. Tray and adding a few bits of food coloring. They can mix all the colors together. An opportunity for them. I don't always do this one at the high chair, but sometimes in the kitchen I'll lay down a towel or several towels and give them a big bucket of water and a couple of little measuring cups or whatever, and they will just dump and play and splash and make a mess everywhere, but they love it and they have so much fun, and it's just water. Because I've seen them do it in things that are a lot worse than water. So give them those opportunities to make messes. It feeds into their natural curiosity. It's really fun to get to see them experience those things when you're planning on it. I will say a little note about this. If you can plan it around lunch break, it's a great time because you're just trying to wrap up those last few things before you take a break to make lunch, and you're gonna have to take a break anyway, so it's a good time to clean them up. Pack and play time. That is tip number 5. So I just want to say for a minute, there is a great system out there, if you're not familiar with it, called blanket training. So the idea is that you have a child sit on a blanket and you train them. You start out with just like 1 minute, and then you work your way up to sometimes 15, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour even, depending on the age of your child. And they learn to just stay on this blanket. We'll allow books and toys. Some people just have them sit, and it's this whole thing. I will say with my older ones, I did this for some of them, and it was really neat. And the idea is that they have a blanket that they can move around anywhere you go. So if you're out and about, you're at the doctor's office, you're at grandparents' houses, you can sit down a blanket anywhere, and they're trained to stay on this blanket. At least in my experience, it was a lot of work and not always as much reward. It would come eventually, and it did, but it was more frustration than it was worth, in my opinion, to me in my circumstances. No judgment. If it works for you, that's awesome. And if you do want to check it out, I'll drop links below so you can see more information on some of the methods on how to do that. But what I would rather do, even though it's not as portable per se, is to just do a pack and play. Because there are sides, I don't have to worry about them getting off or out until they get to a certain age, but that's a different video. But basically the idea is you start out with just a little bit of time and you just kind of work them up to that time. So start out by setting the timer for just 2 or 3 minutes, putting on the pack and play, giving them some activities, and walking away, or being in the same room and maybe reading history or science or whatnot together. So give them that opportunity to entertain themselves, and then work your way up and get it to where you can have 20 or 30 minutes or an hour to really just have them entertain themselves. It's a beautiful skill to be able to teach kids to be able to be alone and entertain themselves. So with that, I talked about earlier, I have sort of a box or creative activities that my older kids can do with the littles, but I also have another box of activities. And these are all things in here that my toddler can do herself. These are things that don't require supervision, that she can get into, she can explore, and she's not going to hurt a thing. So some of the things we love, again, yogurt container, all these yogurt containers are some of the best things you can do, so save them. Container with a lid, usually there's a lid on here, and ping pong balls. Amazing. If they put the lid on, it makes a rattle. They can try to throw the ping pong balls on there, whatever, but they're not going to choke on it. Makes it super fun and easy. Couple of other things. We've got puppets, finger puppets from IKEA. You can get them other places too, but finger puppets, she loves to play with those. I love to go to Dollar Tree every once in a while and just find some of their trinkets. This is one that she enjoys too. It's just a bunch of little plastic bugs and frogs and whatever, and a magnifying glass, and she plays with that for a long time. Old cell phones, calculators, anything like that with buttons, always a big hit. I also love to go and get cookie sheets from Dollar Tree. Cookie sheets from the Dollar Tree, and any kind of magnet. Now again, you want to make sure it's big enough that it's not a choking hazard, but I found some really fun ones over the years. Some are Melissa and Doug, some I honestly don't remember where I got them. But you know, fun magnets like these, animals, where you can mix and match the tops and bottoms to make the right animal. fun things like that. I've got a whole box of them, and I'll give her just a few sheet, and she is good to go. So these are toys that only come out during school time. These are toys that only come out during pack and play time, so that she knows that this is her time to play and enjoy, but then these toys will be put away. I do rotate these toys out. Try to do it about once a week, but honestly it's sort of when she's done with it. So if we've had a week where she's been heavily playing with these toys and interacting with them, then I might rotate it out a little sooner. If it's been a week where we've been out of the house most of the week and she really hasn't had a lot of time to play with them, then I don't worry about rotating them. So just kind of fun things to have on hand. Finally, one of the tricks for homeschooling with littles is baby wearing and snacks. Do not underestimate just having your child with you. Like I said before, that's all they want. So whether you're wearing them on a backpack, an ergo, whatever, whether you're having them on a boppy pillow next to you, having them in the swing next to you, just bringing them in the room with you where they can see what's going on. It's amazing the entertainment value that they get out of that. And it's great because you get that bonding time with your baby while being with your older kids as well. Also, snack time is great. It can take you can stretch it pretty far if you want, just to help engage them. They can play with their food. This is the one time that I let them play with their food as while they're having snack time. Just a little note about TV. If you do decide to do TV, there are a lot of options. Not all screen time is created equal, and putting on just any show is an option. I'm not saying I've never done it before by any means, but try to pick things, maybe come up with a YouTube playlist for your toddler. So songs like nursery rhymes, popular nursery rhymes. Find different educational songs, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, that kind of thing. But try to find things that are engaging to them, but also have educational value. Sometimes there's going to be times when they do TV. We do not structure every second of our toddler's day and our baby's days. They are just kind of part of the family. They obviously nap in there, and we try to definitely make the most out of their nap time. But just wanted to share a couple of ideas that you can do. Hope it helps. Love to hear what your thoughts are in the comment. If you have other ideas, drop them below. And definitely check out our channel. Subscribe to our channel. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday on making the most of little moments in homeschooling, home management, and parenting, and everything in between. Just press that red button or press the link up above here in a minute. Can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Bye.